You can't like go back to the playground as an adult and try to make friends with 7-year-olds. You can't start like going to places where young people are that you're way older than them and start to learn those basic skills.
There are many people that will tell you this is secret to happiness, that is secret to happiness. But if you want to know how to live the life, you must understand how your mind works only. So check out Dr. K Guide, link is in description, huh?
I missed out on normalcy, and it sucks. I've missed out on every normal thing a person learns or goes through, and it sucks. I've missed out on socializing during my teenage years due to being homeschooled, which left me socially inept when I moved on to college. I don't have any cool or funny stories from then, and based on the way things are now, I don't think there will be any cool or funny story to tell when I am old. Hell, I learned how to ride a bicycle just this year. There's only bad experiences for me to share, like getting cheated on, having to let go of a girl I loved, and even though I went through all this, I'm still a virgin. I look around and I have no clue how people are the way they are, in that they can actually be happy and have fun despite the things they go through. I mean, everyone around me are in relationships, and some of them are getting set to get married, and it feels like I'm just being left behind, like I missed a really important train. They all have some fun story or experience to share, while I really don't. There's really no point in me being. I don't bring anything to the table, and my friends are all busy doing their thing. I still have no clue what I want to do, and it all feels very pointless to me right now. I seriously feel very hopeless and lonely. Even existing is depressing. I missed the train to normalcy, and it sucks, and I feel like a friggin' loser. Thanks for reading me venting. So, my heart goes out to this person. I think I was this person at one point in my life. I think many of us have kind of struggled to be this person. And the hardest thing is that we sort of know that in life, there's like a normal way to live it, right? You sort of board this train, and if you board the train early enough, it sort of sets you up for the next step. So if I had friends in high school, in let's say when I was growing up, now I know how to form relationships. If I know how to form relationships, I can go into high school, I've got some social skills, and now that I'm in high school, and if I've got social skills and I make friends, then I'll start interacting with people of the opposite sex or people that I'm attracted to. And then I'll sort of like learn how to socialize with them a little bit. And maybe if I don't even have a girlfriend or that doesn't really work out very well, I get some experience or a boyfriend. And then now when I go into university or college or I move on beyond high school, like I've leveled up enough, right, to where I can do the next phase. And if I do well enough in college, then I've kind of set myself up to succeed in my job. And even if each level is a little bit of a struggle, boarding the train to normalcy means that I've got a fighting shot at the next level. Sure, high school is a little bit difficult. College is even a little bit more difficult. Maybe entering the professional world is a little bit difficult, but I've been leveling up the way that I'm supposed to. And sometimes what happens is we miss the train. And once we miss the train, then things become really, really challenging because like, even if you try to go back and make up for it, the world doesn't sort of see you, the world doesn't kind of like forgive that, right? You can't like go back to the playground as an adult and try to make friends with 7-year-olds. You can't start like going to places where young people are that you're way older than them and start to learn those basic skills, right? It's not like life is sort of made for you to catch up. And even if you try to catch up, what actually ends up happening is, I'm sure you can imagine this, if I'm a 20-year-old and I go hang out at a playground with 8-year-olds, everyone's going to think I'm a creep. And that's not the only situation in which we're considered creeps, right? So if I am awkward and socially anxious and I try to go talk to someone, they're going to think I'm a creep. And so this can be almost a paralyzing situation. And in fact, if you really pay attention to what this person is kind of thinking, and maybe you're thinking this too, I've missed the boat. And once you've missed the boat, there's no boarding it, right? Like that's the whole idea behind a boat. That's why we use that analogy, because everyone who's ready to gets on board and then the boat leaves. And you're left behind, you can't catch up. If you jump into the water and you start swimming, you're never going to catch up. That's the whole idea, right? Because this is the way that life is we do one thing and then we do the next thing and then we do the next thing. And this is growth and this is development and this is healthy. But what if we missed it? We start to feel a little bit hopeless. And if we really want to understand how to do this, we have to realize that there's actually something really, really, really important that is a critical skill that we need to learn. It's probably the most underappreciated skill out there. And because we don't even sort of think about it as a positive. In fact, if you were to learn this skill, most people would think that this is absolutely idiotic to be able to learn how to do this. but it's the one crucial thing that you have to learn if you want to get out of this situation. And so let's start by understanding a little bit about what is the situation. Okay, so my mind has concluded that I've missed the boat, right? So if I've missed the boat, then there's no catching up. All of the steps that I need to take, the boat has left. So there's like no like way to go back in time and fix it. Although maybe if you're like me, you wish you could go back in time and fix it. You dream of time travel, and if you could live your life again, you would do everything right, or not even everything right? You wouldn't make that one crucial mistake that got you off on the wrong path. And if you could have just boarded the train at the right time, then all of the other things would have gone well. So let's understand a little bit about why your mind thinks that your situation is hopeless. So as you look around at all the normal people, your mind is a pattern generating machine. It's deductive, it's analytical. And by the way, I see this problem more in people who have high IQ. So they're able to do analysis, right? So you analyze all these other people and you kind of conclude, okay, these are the steps that it is required to become successful. I have all these friends, they're all getting married. The reason they're getting married is because they started dating. They started dating because they learned how to socialize. And your mind kind of engineers the formula for success. And it's a very, very good formula for success, right? There's a lot of data to support that formula for success. And then we kind of look at this and we conclude, okay, this is the right way to succeed. We have overwhelming data that this is the right way to succeed. And then you look at your own situation and what is the natural conclusion that you come to? Well, if this is the formula for success and it requires boarding the boat at a particular time and kind of getting off on that trajectory, and I've missed that trajectory, therefore I'm hopeless, right? And it's completely logical. And you may talk to other people and other people may sort of say, oh no, it's not that big of a deal. You'll still be fine. Like you can do it. You can do anything that you put your mind to, but you don't believe that, right? They can say that, but it doesn't sink in with you. Well, why not? And this is where you can say, oh, it's because I have low self-esteem or something like that. No, let's be like more precise. The reason that you don't believe them or the reason that their answers don't work for you is not because of some psychological low self-esteem, although that's true in a sense. It's because you've tried it that way, right? So if we listen to this person's experience, they sort of dated someone, they were cheated on, right? That person left them, they're still a virgin. So the other thing that we oftentimes forget about people who miss the boat on normalcy is they tried to live a normal life at one point or many points. And anytime they tried to live a normal life, they got screwed, right? Things did not work out in their favor. I tried relationships. I couldn't even get someone to stay faithful. I tried doing what other people do, and I failed at that crap. And it's because you failed at that crap that you sort of got off on this wrong trajectory. So what does the mind naturally conclude then? If people say, oh, just go out and try to meet people, right? Like you got to try to meet people. But once again, what is your mind saying? Your mind is saying, hey, we've tried this before. We've done our analysis. We've sort of recognized that this does not work well from us, right? Because that's what the mind does. The mind learns from experience. So here we have our experience, which is filled with difficulty and failure, which is not like, it's not wrong, right? That may not be a cognitive bias. Like those are actually your experiences. If you dated someone and they cheated on you and then you were devastated afterward, like that's actually like your reality. And then your mind does analysis of other people and it concludes, okay, these people have lived normal lives. And then what your mind does is it sits down with all this data and it comes to a conclusion. There's no hope in trying, right? There's no point in trying. That's why we're hopeless, because we've concluded that, okay, not only is the world a painful place for us when we've tried to engage in it, but furthermore, now that we've missed the boat on some of these things, our stats are so low, we're so low level, we're so far behind that further attempts to engage will result in failure. And so our mind adopts hopelessness as an energy-saving strategy. Because if we're hopeless, we won't try. If we don't try and failure is inevitable, we're going to end up saving some energy. Maybe we can salvage what we can out of life, and we'll certainly save ourselves from a lot of hurt. So hopelessness here is not it's not a problem to be solved. It is the solution itself. And so then the question kind of becomes, okay, well, if I'm in this situation, what can I do to change it? And this is where, to be honest, this is the most underappreciated skill. And in fact, most people wouldn't even consider it a skill. In fact, we strive for the opposite, which is we need to learn how to be stupid. So our entire life, we want to be intelligent, right? We want to figure out the most important things. We want to be problem solvers. We want to be right. We trust our intelligence. We try to boost our IQ. We take supplements. We read books, all to be smarter. And what we really need to do in this situation is to be dumb, to be absolutely idiotic. And you may say, well, hold on a second. What do you mean by be stupid? Why would I want to be stupid? Because let's remember that all of the conclusions that your mind comes to are because of its brilliance, right? Because you've analyzed all the lives of other people, and here's the logical conclusion you come to. You've analyzed all of the experiences that you've had, and here's the logical conclusion you come to. And if someone tries to tell you otherwise, you have 1,000 reasons why they're wrong. Oh, sure, you have this advice for me, but it doesn't apply because of reasons A, B, and C. It won't work for me because of A, B, and C. And you're right? So people, like, they take it for granted. They're like, oh, just go out there, man. Like, put yourself out there. And it's fine if you can put yourself out there if you're a 6'3" Chad, or you're a beautiful, mixed race woman that men are drooling over. But what if you're not one of those people, right? What if you're one of the rejects? Then none of that stuff works. And so your mind comes to conclusions, and the mind is so intelligent, and it's so intelligent, right? So any kind of logic that you use, any kind of analysis that you use, even some amount of therapy or something like that doesn't work. So how do you get out of this situation? You become stupid, become utterly idiotic. Because if you really think about it, anytime you try to take a step forward out of your situation, what does your mind do? It tells you, no, don't do that. And it gives you 1,000 reasons. Look at how intelligent I am. The full power of your IQ is being leveraged to keep you in place. So the only antidote is to be stupid. Because anytime you try to take a step forward, your mind will give you 1,000 reasons. Here's all the data. Here's all the evidence. Here are all the reasons. It won't work for you. It won't work for you. It won't work for you. And so our whole lives, we go trying to trust our mind, trying to boost our mind, trying to improve our IQ, trying to learn lots of things. And by the way, it's also, we haven't mentioned it yet, but I'd say that if you're in this kind of situation, I'm sure you've done lots and lots and lots of reading and exploration to try to figure out a solution, right? How do I thread the needle of all of my problems in life so I can use my intellect to find a way forward? And the more that you use your intellect, you have one option. You're like, oh my God, this is it. I found the magic bullet. And you do it. And what happens? It doesn't work. And now that you've had one more failure, you add that onto the pile. That makes you more hopeless. Now you have to thread an even finer needle. You have to walk an even more dangerous tightrope because now you've got one more failure weighing you down. And I know it sounds kind of bizarre, but there's actually very good evidence of this scientifically as well. So when I work with my patients who are psychotic or who have anxiety disorders, the key feature that I teach them is to learn how to distrust your mind. Learn how to be stupid. If you have all this data that shows that the FBI is following you, I was walking down the street and there was someone in a car. And the second that I walked by, they turned on the car and they drove away. I was driving down the highway and I exited off the highway and there was one car that followed me. And then I turned right into a gas station and that car turned right into the gas station too. See, I have all of this data. So what you need to learn how to do is distrust your mind. Your anxious mind tells you, oh my God, this is going to go wrong, and this is going to go wrong, and this is going to go wrong, and this is going to go wrong. And if you try to argue with the person with anxiety, what happens? They're going to win. So what you need to learn how to do is be stupid. And what does it mean to be stupid? Being stupid means for the 1,000 reasons that your mind is telling you no, just even if it's right. Oh, it's so smart. Look at how high your IQ is. Be stupid. And let's be honest, even if you're super hopeless about yourself, and even if you feel terrible about yourself, there's still one other question, right? Which is what you ask yourself, which is how on earth can all these fucking idiots do so well in life when I struggle so damn hard? They're such idiots and they're out there living life. Well, there's your answer. It's not that them being idiots makes it harder for them to live life. It makes it easier for them to live life, right? So learn how to be a little bit stupid. Learn how to distrust your mind a little bit. If your mind is telling you that something is a good idea, consider doing the opposite. Even if your mind tells you there's no point, this is doomed to failure, don't bother. And when we listen to the intelligence of the mind, when we listen to the analysis, when we listen to the brilliance, we are being so smart. And we play the game of analysis and trying to figure out the perfect answer instead of just being stupid. And there are lots of situations like this, right? So I can only imagine that, I have no idea, but there's this famous kind of story of Bill Gates dropping out of Harvard. And once you get into Harvard University, like, oh my God, how idiotic is it to drop out? So much of what we crave in life seems stupid from the outside. Even my own story. I struggled so hard to get into medical school, struggled so hard in medical school to get into a top residency, became faculty at a top institution, and invested so much in this and walked away to do what? To do this. It's idiotic to walk away from such opportunity. Oh my God. So I'd encourage you to stop trying to figure things out so elegantly. Stop trying to be so smart and instead be a little bit idiotic, be a little bit stupid. You'll be amazed at where it gets you.